Hey, it's Jared with State of Tech. Today I'm going to talk about my favorite iPad mini accessories that I think make this a real workhorse in a small compact frame. Now, I have my iPad mini in a case. I always put my iPad mini in a case. This case is the one that I'm using right now. I have a cases video that recently went up, so if you're interested in this case as well as some of the other best ranking cases on Amazon that I thought were relatively interesting, definitely check out that video after you finish watching this one. So I'm going to pull the iPad out of the case because this video isn't really about a case. It's about the tools and accessories that I use when I'm utilizing my iPad mini on my desk or maybe anywhere else for that matter. I need additional functionality to make my iPad mini a little bit more of a tool for my everyday use. So with the Apple Pencil attached, I'm going to go ahead and set my iPad into this Satechi dock/stand. Now this can support iPads of all sizes up to the 12.9-inch iPad with its cable over here that plugs in USB so that I can get charging. So now my iPad is charging and it's attached to the dock. But let me show you a little bit about this dock before we get too carried away. This dock on the back end here has SD, micro SD, a headphone jack, a USB-C, a USB-A, and an HDMI out port, which is absolutely fantastic. It gives me everything that I need with one connection to my iPad mini so that I can get as much done with my iPad mini without having to plug in maybe multiple dongles or have too many things hanging off the side of my iPad. So my iPad dock here I definitely really like because I can use it with the smaller iPad, I could use it with the larger iPad, and it folds up into a nice little compact unit that I can then take with me. Now attached to the iPad mini is a keyboard and mouse. A keyboard and mouse is really important with an iPad mini because we don't have a big magic keyboard case. Of course, there are keyboard cases available for the iPad mini, but I haven't really found one that's that good, and the typing experience is usually pretty poor on them because all the keys are so close together. So I like using my Keychron keyboard. This is the K3, and my MX Anywhere Logitech mouse to utilize my iPad mini as if it was a bigger device, such as a laptop or something like that. My iPad mini really has become kind of my go-to device because of its form factor. It's easy for me to take with me to meetings where I can take notes. I'm a student pilot right now, and so I'm utilizing it for the ForeFlight app. I actually did a review of the iPad and using ForeFlight, so if you're interested in that, check that video out as well. And so with the iPad connected to these devices here, I can use this more as a laptop. And the iPad with iPadOS 15 is absolutely fantastic for that. So as I'm navigating my iPad using the mouse, and of course I've got the cursor that floats around on the screen, and then the keyboard, which is a full keyboard here, but is still really lightweight and Bluetooth, I have a great typing experience on my iPad, and it's a great overall grouping of accessories to turn this into a small workstation. And with the Keychron keyboard, a little bit of clickety action just really feels great as well. So there are other accessories that I use more so when I'm out and about. I don't take this stand with me, this stand/hub with me other places, because to me it is a little big, and I probably wouldn't be setting this up in an environment other than a home office or here at my office. So let's go ahead and remove a couple of these devices here and move some of this stuff out of the way just to show you real quick how this folds up. It has a spot in here where you can kind of finagle the cord around and tuck it in. And so it takes a little bit of this is not the best experience for tucking in a cord, but nonetheless, it gets the job done. And then this folds up like so into a nice little stand that you can stow away. So this is relatively small and not too hard to take with you. But in a lot of instances, I'm not utilizing my iPad in this way when I'm out and about, as I mentioned. So we'll push those items off to the side, and we'll take a look at a secondary type of dock, which I do carry with me quite often. This is also from Satechi. And what I love about this one is that it has an included cable. And so no longer do I have a cable that's just fixed and always hanging out getting caught on things, or a bigger cable that I have to carry with me. It has a nice stowaway cable. And it has 2 USB-C ports on it, which most do not. Most have one USB-C port. And so what this allows is for me to charge a device that's USB-C, so I can plug in a USB-C charger here and still have another USB-C port for something else. That's something that even this stand dock here does not offer. This having 2 USB-C ports, for some odd reason, it must take special magic because most other hubs like this do not have dual USB-C. This also has HDMI. It has VGA for those rare instances where you might need to plug into a projector that still is VGA only. It has Ethernet, which could be useful. It also has 2 USB Type A's. It has a SD and micro SD card reader. But the real functionality here is in the ability to just pull this out, plug it in, and boom, you're ready to go. And what's nice about this is that you don't necessarily have to just use this short little stubby cable. It also comes with a longer cable here as well. So if you would prefer this to be at your desk with a longer cable, it comes with a longer cable. You plug it in and then run that to whatever device, your iPad. You can use it with your computer. Maybe you just keep this cable at your computer plugged in so that you can use this hub both with your computer and with your iPad. So a fantastic accessory that I use all the time. So another thing that I use quite often with my iPad is external storage. External storage is important, especially with the iPad mini, because it doesn't have storage capacities like the bigger iPads, like the iPad Pro. And so when I'm loading lots of photos and stuff onto this iPad, I don't want to clog up the storage completely. So what I often do is utilizing one of these docks like this hub here, or even this dock stand that is also kind of a hub. I could plug in the iPad and then I could plug in one of these hard drives into it, or solid state drives, because these aren't a traditional hard drive, they are a solid state drive. And then I can copy my photos directly off of an SD card onto one of these drives and back everything up. It's a great, very simple process that I could do with my iPad. And I've done a video talking about how to connect drives like this, solid state drives or other hard drives, to your iPad. And I also walk you through how to copy files and move files from one location to another. These SanDisk drives are really great. The smaller one here is more than fast enough for an iPad, and it comes in, I think, all the way up to 2 terabytes. This is a 2 terabyte. They may even have 4 terabyte storage now. And then this is the Extreme Pro, which is faster. And so if you're going to utilize this drive, maybe with the new MacBook Pro, you would want to go with the Extreme. But otherwise, the standard, or the Extreme Pro, this is just the Extreme. Names are confusing on all these products, but 2 terabytes here, tons of storage, external storage, and then 2 terabytes with faster transfer rates here for those of you that might be on a MacBook Pro and want those faster transfer rates when your device is connected to that. Another device that I often use because I don't necessarily need this big device all the time is a very small SD card reader. This SD card reader is USB-C on one side and has SD and micro SD right on it as well. And so when I'm out and just transferring photos to my iPad, perhaps I'm just transferring a few photos into my iPad so that I could edit them in Lightroom. This is just a lightweight, simple solution so that I don't have to pull out this entire apparatus and plug this thing in. This is obviously much heavier, and so in certain situations where maybe I'm, holding the iPad, I'm not sitting, or I'm sitting in a car or somewhere where I don't want to have too much weight hanging off the side of my iPad, I'll just use this guy because this is lightweight and simple enough, doesn't cause any problems, haven't had any issues, and it's a simple way to get your media into your iPad. So charging is also an issue with the iPad. Devices these days aren't coming with chargers, and the chargers that they come with aren't as functional as aftermarket chargers. And so this company, Spigen here, has several different chargers that I think are great, and they're high power, which support fast charging on the iPad mini and also will charge your other devices. I just recently did a video on which charger to use with your iPhone, and I walked through all of these different chargers, talking about wireless charging, how much power draw and all that fun stuff. So it's kind of an interesting video. You might want to check that one out as well. But they make these chargers from 20 watts all the way up to 100 watts, and these support fast charging. And they're USB-C, so USB-C to USB-C on your iPad mini. They're great accessories to have as well. This single port 30 watt here is what I would highly recommend for the iPad mini. But if you want something with 2 ports, then they've got the 70 watt here, which has 2 ports. 70 watts is going to be more than enough to charge both your iPad and an iPhone as well, or maybe 2 iPads or something like that. 70 watts is great. If you want one charger to replace them all, such as replacing the charger also that you have, or adding a secondary charger for your laptop, like your MacBook, you have a MacBook or MacBook Air, MacBook 13 or something like that, this is the 100 watt. It has dual USB-C, and so dual USB-C means you can charge your iPad and your Mac laptop as well. You're only going to need something bigger than 100 watt if you're going with the newest MacBook Pros that came out here in late 2021, like the M1 Pro, M1 Max. Those are going to require at least 100 watts, and I think the 16-inch requires 135 watt. So talking back about the iPad mini here, these chargers are inexpensive, they're very high quality, and you can charge multiple devices with them. So I'll link to those below, and you can choose like the 30 single, good for the iPad mini, the 70 good for 2 devices, and the 100 good for 2 devices if one of those devices is also a laptop. One item that I added to my iPad is the Paperlike screen protector. The Paperlike screen protector is not only a screen protector, but it adds the paper feel to your iPad mini so that drawing or writing on the iPad feels more like writing on traditional paper. And I went with the Paperlike because I use my iPad mini quite often for taking notes. So as you can see here with my iPad, I have the screen protector on there, and I have my background image, everything on here. It looks really good. I was always afraid with using a screen protector that added some sort of layer over my screen that wasn't a clear screen protector, that it would cause issues with me being able to see the images that I've captured and put on the iPad to edit, that it would lower the quality, and I just wouldn't enjoy the experience. But Paperlike, they've done a fantastic job with their screen protectors. And so if I come out of the bottom here and go for a new quick note and start to write, you have to apologize, my horrible handwriting, but a couple of things that I like there. First of all, the tapping that happens when you are writing on the screen is muted a little bit. You can still hear it there, which is why I included it in the video. It's not much. It definitely mutes that. But what it also does is it adds a little bit of resistance like you typically would have on paper. On paper, you're kind of pressing down into the paper a little bit. There's a little bit of give that gives you just a little bit so that you're not dragging across glass, and that's what it feels like on an iPad. It's not the best experience. So with the Paperlike screen protector, it's really nice to be able to utilize it in that way. If I take a screenshot and open up that screenshot and go and mark it up, it just feels better utilizing this screen protector because of the Paperlike experience. And so for me, I didn't enjoy writing with the Apple Pencil until putting a Paperlike screen protector on. It makes the experience much better. It feels more like writing on paper. It's not so slick and slippery, and it isn't so tappy like you're tapping on glass. Those are a lot of weird words, and some of them I may have just made up, but the experience is so much better with a screen protector like this. So if you've been on the fence about using a screen protector like this, I highly recommend it. It comes with 2 of them, so that way in case you either make a mistake applying the first one, you still have a second one, or after the first one wears out or feels like it's a little worn out, you can change that out for the second one. So lots of good stuff for the iPad mini here. The iPad mini is just a great all-around device with plenty of horsepower to get most of the things done. Its size makes it super convenient so that you can take it anywhere and do pretty much anything. But because of the single port out the side or out the bottom, you need expandability. And using keyboards, mouse, accessories like this make the iPad mini experience much, much better for all of the things that you might end up doing. So, as always, the links to the products are in the description below. Check them out. Make sure to comment on this video if you have any questions or you want to add to the conversation. Subscribe to the channel and give it a thumbs up. I'd love for you to be notified when new videos come out. But that's going to do it for today. Thanks so much, and we'll see you back in another one soon. Take care.